Elite is being coachable, knowing your limitations, knowing you're comfortable in delegating, and being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think is huge. That's the only way we're going to learn. If you want to be elite, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Today's episode is all about developing a winner's mindset, an elite mindset. Courtney and I sit down with author, podcaster, leader of people, Toby Brazwell, and we break down what he is seeing, not only in his own life, but in the agency force, what those that have elite mindsets, those elite producers, those elite agency owners, what they're doing constantly and consistently every single day to continue to be elite. And at the end of the day, evolution is a choice, and you get to choose what your future looks like. With that being said, let's start the show.
Might as well have like friendship bracelets, because this is the exact conversation that he had. It's with everything, like a cup of coffee. He only has one cup of coffee. So he's like, I want it to be a fantastic cup of coffee. The best coffee you've ever had every day.
Listen, I say this to my brother all the time. We talk about conversation in the same way. It's like, I will gladly pay for good conversation. I will pay good conversation. And that tells you how much bad conversation that's out there. Just people just run in the middle. How you doing? I'm good. You good? Yeah, we're good. You know, give me the deets. Let's get deep like that.
Okay, good. So we're not hanging out in the shallow end of the pool. Toby.
No, we're going deep.
What is the thing that you're most excited about right now in your life?
You know what? I am excited because I feel like that guy that just came back from a fantastic motivational conference. I feel like the guy that just got back home after church, after a revival. Feel like that guy that just got back from a family reunion. I feel reconnected. I feel more focused than I have been in the past. I wish I could just say it's just one thing, but I think it's a couple of things. This year I'm turning 50, and I think that it is a certain level of focus that comes with this. And I know what happened to me when I turned 40. Mike, you don't know nothing about that, but when you let me tell you, at 40, something happens. Okay, something happens. It's a change, and I can't explain it. But I think in getting this close to 50, it is all about legacy. It's not so much about me. It's all about what can I do to leave something behind for this next generation. It's not about that. The whole mindset's changed. So. Really long answer, Court. I'm so sorry. For that long answer.
Don't apologize.
Yeah, that's what I got.
No, that's fantastic. So is this really like the first time in your life where you feel like you're more focused on looking at what's coming up next, like what's behind you, like the legacy piece of that and what you're leaving behind?
No, I felt like this before. It kind of comes and goes, but I'm more of, I tell you what, the last time I felt like this was back in 1819. It was there was a time where I was going through a lot of work stuff in that year. I had so much on my plate. I was like, look, this is the year. Vision boards up, got pictures. I mean, you would have thought I was a fourth grader putting together a poster presentation. I had that stuff in the room. Like, look, this year is all going to be about the book I'm writing, the album I'm recording, the house I'm buying, and the podcast that we're starting. Those are the 4 goals. I mean, that is a lot for 1 year. That's a lot for 1 year. And I did it. I did it all in 1 year. And it was just consistent focus. I mean, I got the house. The podcast has been going great. Riffs on Riffs. It's been 6 years strong. The book came out as well, Empowered Chords. And the album came out. So it was like all of those things. I mean, it's an immense amount of work for all of that stuff. So I felt it back then. I'm feeling that same way now. But I tell you what, have you ever heard that whole concept of, hey, it worked so well that they stopped doing it?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened. Because there is, and that's why I respect what you guys are doing so much, because I don't think people get it. I don't think lay people necessarily get it. There's a burden that comes with what you do. People are listening to you. People are always watching. It's a burden. It's a blessing. Okay. But it is a burden. And if you're not ready for it, for one reason or another, then that can kind of be a little scary. It cause people to kind of go into bad habits. Well, this time I'm ready. This time I'm more than ready. So that's the different. Again, that's the whole 50 thing. Again, Mike, something you don't know nothing about yet. So
Not yet, man. Not yet.
Not yet. You good. You don't want to know about that just yet. You fine. Take your time, Mike. Take your time.
I'm going to enjoy my mid-30s. All right.
You should.
Now, Courtney can't
Don't
say
say
that.
it.
She's more in the
Don't
late
say
30s.
it.
All right.
Don't
But
do it. Don't start off like that.
Don't end like that either. How about that, Courtney?
It's like, I don't know if you want to start that right now. Writing checks you can't cash.
Lord,
Be
Lord,
careful.
tell 'em.
hey.
We know all about them NSF, some insufficient funds. We know all about that. Don't do that. Don't do that now.
Okay,
Do
so your career, how long have you been in insurance? Because it sounds like there is a shift that happened there.
Yeah, I've been in insurance now for 18 years.
Yeah.
I started as an agent for 3 and then was interested in the role that I have right now as a district manager. But I had to work the corporate route to learn all the recruiting, the training, the sales management piece. So it's been 18 years.
That's incredible.
It's been a blessing. Been a crazy ride. I've worked in 3 different states for the company I'm with now. I've probably managed over 300 agents, I would say, in my time. I've worked both on the company side and on the 1099 side. Yeah, it's been a lot. But in all of that, to say that, sometimes your mind will play those tricks on you, not thinking you know what you're doing or think that you're qualified to speak on certain subjects. Again, we're talking about that burden, right? The burden that you guys share, fighting off the imposter syndrome and speaking from a place of strength because of all the experience that you've had. And right now, it's like, yeah, I feel like I'm Ben-Hur right now. Put it on me. I'm good. I can carry it. What is a beautiful thing about music is that it is truly the universal language. You just mentioned like 4 or 5 different genres. And I feel like people that can really appreciate music or people that make music, to be able to go from one song to another, like a DJ or let's on a playlist, to be able to have that resonate with you, it helps. And it means you probably have a better chance, in my opinion, to be able to talk to a whole bunch of different people and go from one different conversation to another. We're just talking about switching tracks. That's all we're talking about, switching tracks.
Yeah.
Switch the beat. Sometimes you need to slow it down. Sometimes you need to speed it up. Sometimes we talk with slang. Sometimes we don't. It's a conversation and music are very, very, very similar in that regard. So, yeah, that's why I love music. It is truly the universal language. If I can connect with you on a music level, it's a really good chance we're going to get along. So
how do you incorporate like what you were just talking about into what you do with agents every day?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, as far as like music is concerned, there's been a lot of times, like especially in corporate situations, where you can be really nervous. You're talking to the higher up, you're talking to the CEO, or you're talking to a really, really big client. I have to remind myself of who I am. In my book, I call them chords, and they're basically like lessons that I've learned. And one of them is remember your strength. And I feel like there are times where you can forget who you are, forget what you've done. If you ever went into, before any big meeting, if you ever sat down and just looked over your resume, right? Like if you just looked at it, just look at your resume and what you accomplished. Man, I think my wallet is the one that got bad mofo on it. I think I'm something in my career, and I would tell you as a hip hop artist, at this point, ain't too many things that are going to make me nervous, dude. I mean, I've literally freestyled in front of tons of people. I've been booed on stage. I've been cheered on stage. I've been on stage and my boy and we were on stage and he jumped off and did a stage dive and they held him up. Like I've seen some of everything. So that I feel like music has helped me prepare for life in that regard. Like no fear. Like these people don't even know us. And we talked about it before, Mike, having the right mindset, having an elite mindset, So before it was, hey, this is a group of people. They don't even know us, man. They don't know any of our songs. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it's like, dude, when we get off stage, that whole crowd's going to love us. They're going to be chanting our name. It's going to be E.Connie. All right. Now, fast forward years later, it's like, man, what are we going to do? This prospect they don't even, these calls ain't been going well. Before I pick up the phone, this customer's going to love me. They're going to love me. Get on the phone. Hey, how you doing? This is Toby. How are you? We all right. Courtney, nice to talk to you. I know that you said that you wanted some auto insurance. Let me tell you, I'm the last ones you're going to need to talk to. I'm the last agent you're going to need to talk to. We about to be family. You don't even know it. I'm invited to the barbecue. I'll see you there. I'm bringing chicken salad. What you got? Okay, cool. Let's talk about this auto coverage. Let's get this going. What kind of deductible you want? I got you. Towing? Roadside assistance? Yeah, I know. And I would approach it just like that. And the reaction was just like that. They laughed like, dude, you're silly. Like, yeah, it's that serious. We should have fun. And in my agency, I want everyone you're my customer, but let's change that. Let's make it family, because I want this to be a long-term thing anyway. I want this to be a long-term thing. So I think so I think the music stuff, helped me transition into sales. It's just having the right mindset going in. You talk about having an elite mindset, like the criteria for an elite mindset. And a lot of them just really jive and resonate with the stuff I have in my book. I think one of the first things you got to do is treat everything like it's an interview. I think treating everything like it's an interview, every conversation, every interaction in an interview, to get the very best out of an interview, both parties have to be dressed, be prepared, have done the research, look good, smell good, talk good, right? Got to be all those things. But I feel like we present ourselves so well for interviews. But if we did the same thing when it came to talking to our neighbors, talking to our children, talking to police officers, our teachers, our strangers, man, what could potentially happen? What could be the result of that conversation? I tell you what, a lot better than a job in a lot of cases, right? A lot better. It could be an opportunity. Mm-hmm. It could be a chance meeting. It could be so many different things. So treat everything like it's an interview is one of the core things I feel like having. That's what an elite mindset is about. So, Mike, I probably just answered the question that you hadn't asked yet, but I just took the liberty to do that.
That's so good. And the one thing that you said a lot of things that just stood out, but like the positive self-talk that you used to tell yourself, like, I got this. And then you get on the phone and that's exactly what you go right into. Like, I remember being in the car. I learned this from Brian Tracy. I listened to Brian Tracy for 18 months in a row. Psychology of Selling, man. Like, it's not the most exciting book, all right? But it is what I listened to in the beginning of my career. And he talked about that. And so I remember before every call, I would do like a little 1-minute breathing meditation exercise, like visualizing how the call was going to go. All right. Or when I would pull up to somebody's house, I would say like 10 times to myself, I got this. I'm going to close the business. I'm going to walk out of here with whatever I was talking to the customer about that day. And that just you just reminded me of that. Like, and I even have positive self-talks with myself. Like, when shit gets hard, I'm like, come on, Michael, let's do this. Like,
oh my gosh. All the time. When I see him getting ready to approach something, this is if we're working out, if we're on a challenging hike, if we're wakeful, whatever, he will go, come on, Michael. I'm like, oh, we've gotten there. Okay. We have moved.
We are there now. We have arrived. We have arrived. He's here.
But you bring up a fantastic point of having a clear desired intention.
Yep.
You're very clear on what do I want out of this exchange. And I think that is one of the big things when you're talking about success and mindset is where are you trying to get? Like what would be the best possible outcome in this scenario? Going in really clearly of this customer is going to love me and you're already pitching chicken salad for the barbecue. You're like, I already know.
For sure. That's right. And the baked beans.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
when we talk about conversation, I've I know you guys have seen it too, where I've seen folks talk themselves into a deal and talk themselves right out, and then talk themselves in, and then talk themselves out again. I remember watching this one brother do it, and Lord help me. I had to literally stop. Like, you are spiraling. We got to stop. But that's because I feel that the navigation, he hadn't properly thought about what success looks like. Didn't know what success was. Couldn't actually define it, and I told him, I said, look, you gotta, I feel that if you develop the rapport correctly, you have the right to ask for someone's business. If you if the rapport is done, if it's built correctly, if we built this relationship, I have the right to do that. I feel, if a man has built a relationship with the person that he loves enough, he has the right to ask that person for their hand in marriage. I think you got the right. You've built a rapport. I mean, who are you? Wake up, read the resume. Let's go. So I think it's what it's about. But there have been some books that certainly have helped me get this mindset. I would say Neil Donald Walsh's book is called Conversations with God.
So good. We're reading that right now.
Well, I met him, and let me tell you, it's spooky. I met him. Fantastic. My wife and I, we were there, big fans. And it was reading that book was a really weird situation. I'm in the mortgage industry, right? And this is how you know that some things you got to believe in a higher power at some point. Come on. You got to believe in a higher power, right? I don't care what you call them. Yep. I don't care what you call them, but or her for that matter. I don't care what you call it, but it is what it is. So I'm at this, I'm working at this mortgage place, and these brothers from all different areas, right? There's all these dudes. We're talking. We're sitting at lunch, and I'm feeling some kind of way. Sales weren't going well, and some cat brought up, it's like, did you give Toby the book yet? I'm like, what book? It's like, no, did you? This is one book, man, you need to read. And these cats are different, like, from different areas and everything. And all of them at that job had basically read this book. I would say 80% of the cats there had read this book. It's like, man, there's just one part in the book, dude. There's just one part. Whoa, there's just one part, dude. I can't wait for you to get there. So I'm like, right, calm down. All right, I'm going to check it out. So I get ready to go buy the book. And it's something when you can go on Amazon to go buy the book, and the book is being sold for a penny. Like somebody was trying to sell it for a penny. Like, dude, look, I'm basically giving it away. I want you to have this book. And, to me, that stood out. I take that book, and of course, I'm at Applebee's, right? I'm sitting at the bar waiting for my wife to get there. I have the book with me sitting on the bar, and a random dude, right? Just random. He said, you reading that book? I said, yeah, I just started. He's like, fantastic book, dude. There's this one part. Dude, trust me. And I'm like, what is this? What is going on? Read the book, that mindset that soaked in. This is before I got into insurance. I doubled my salary that year from the concept that he had in the book. Just that kind of mindset. No excuses. We just make adjustments. That kind of mindset, it changed everything. And there's a book I'm reading right now, which is equally spooky. It's called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe.
Yes.
Yeah. Equally spooky, right? It's just one of those things I'm like, I feel better reading the book. I feel good. It doesn't feel like self-help. It just feels like, self-nourishment. Like, oh, this is great. So that's the kind of stuff I'm into. So stuff you didn't ask for, Mike, but I'm giving it to you.
I love it.
That's so good.
It feels like you, or at least for me, a lot of success has been trying to figure it out or trying to understand it. And when you read books like that, it feels like, oh, this makes sense. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, why wouldn't that make sense? And then when you start applying principles, and a lot of it, especially for Dr. Joe, is science. Like, that's how your brain functions, and you can start rewiring and changing who you are as a person. And if that's all it takes, you think, what else is possible? Because if we're just barely scratching the surface of our potential as human beings, what else can we do?
Is if we can't believe that change can happen, then man, there's a lot of us that are just going to be out of business. Like all the coaches going to be out of business. Like, right. One of the things I say in my book, one of the chords is evolution is a choice. Mm-hmm. It's a choice. Evolution is a choice. So you literally get up every day, a choice whether to brush your teeth, eat breakfast, go to work, dress a certain way or whatnot. But the decision to change is a choice. And here's where people get it wrong. It's not a choice that you just make once. It's a choice that you have to make daily and sometimes several times a day. Let me tell you, Mike, selling policies, that could be difficult. Let me tell you what's harder. Selling a career. Oh my gosh. Listen, I have never been ghosted this much since I was trying to date in high school. This is ridiculous. This is insane. It's stupid. It makes no sense. And because of it, I can internalize all of that. It's like, man, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Am I doing something wrong? Why? Just why is this happening? But in my mind, it's like, man, I see, like with this book and several other books I've read, it's like, man, what does success look like to you, Toby? Where do you want to be at the end of this year? What does that look like? Okay, now assume that you've already envisioned in your mind that you've already accomplished all of that. Now, what does that look like? And I'm like, man, I started to feel better. I started to feel lighter. Those people that ghosted me, it's like they were going to be a waste of my time anyway. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Fail is just what? First attempt in learning. I just learned that last week. First attempt in learning, FAIL. So those failures, those are little breadcrumbs all the way to my success. So, it's just you got to have the right mindset. And that is a choice that you have to make. I think that in itself is a choice that you have to make daily, So, I mean, just like with you and your playlist, right, Court? We can't listen to the same music every day. You're going to get bored. But you listen to different playlists, different songs, and it's like it still gets blood pumping, gets you moving, gets you in the right mindset. Well, we got to read different books sometimes where the messages come in different ways, if it's Dr. Joe or if it's Neil or it's Atomic Habits or, it's whatever, that's what it's all about. So, yeah, I think that's, yes, sir. I ordered yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's one of my favorite books from last year.
So, okay, you're talking, and I am 100% spot on with everything that you're saying right now. So, I think the hang up that I have sometimes is like the vision part, but then how do you consistently continue to have that elite mindset? Like, what do you personally do to feed yourself on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
Well, my wife constantly tells me that I don't know everything, right? So I'm just inclined to believe that I don't know everything.
Pretty quickly every day, yeah.
Yeah, every day.
Relate, dude. I can relate. Now, don't tell her.
I juice you up so much. I am like the ultimate. I'm getting my
We're
tiny
each other's hype squad. We're each other's hype squad. All right.
Yeah, I'll shut that down.
But you know what? The one thing, as Court just mentioned, good partners, they pump us up. And one thing my partner will tell me is, don't be afraid to say you don't know. If you don't know something, don't act. Because I think here's the thing, Mike, in some of the circles that we run in, because we do what we do, because of the title, and because we've worked with so many agents, people think that we have all of the answers. And I feel that sometimes people in our position, we want to act like we have all the answers, right? We feel that pressure, like, well, they're going to want to answer right now. When in reality, all we have to say is, I don't know. I am a father of a 15-year-old. All right. And I have learned very quickly. Look, if I don't know, bruh, I don't know. I'll find out, which means I'm gonna go ask your mom. But if I I don't know, I don't know. Let's admit that. Let's admit that. So I think being elite is being coachable, knowing your knowing limitations, knowing you can't do everything, being all right, being comfortable in delegating, and being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think is huge. That's the only way we're going to learn. We cannot just continually be in this circle. Courtney, you had talked earlier about carving out new, neural networks. That is uncomfortable. That's uncomfortable. If you've never worked out and then you go to working out, you're going to be uncomfortable. Like, what is this machine? What is this? And then if you have been working out to try new exercises, it's going to be uncomfortable, right? So we, that's life. That's elite. That's elite. If you want to be elite, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, I feel.
Man, that's so true. That is so damn true. Think about the first time I tried Pilates. We got Sally over here that's 72 years old, just owning the machine. I'm over here like shaking, about to fall down. Like, what's going on? What is this? What is this crazy shit that we got going on?
Mike, come with me to Orange Theory one time. Listen, have you ever been to Orange Theory? You ever done it?
I haven't.
Listen.
I've only heard stories of vomit at Orange Theory.
Girl.
It's going to be like...
Girl. Listen, it's rough. It is rough. But I would tell you this, man, there are some 60-year-old ladies up in there that will look you down like you can't listen. You're not doing it right. You need to come on now. Let's go. I mean, God.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like my Zumba story. I went to Zumba when we were in Sedona. I was invited by our 72-year-old, 73-year-old neighbor. And I show up, I've never been to a Zumba class in my life, and I'm dropping the median age by 30 years. And they put me in the front and center, and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I didn't realize that they get the routine ahead of time, and these biddies have been practicing. So they start the music, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it's like a flash mob. They all know exactly what's going on. And I just plopped in. I'm like, okay, here we go. Good thing I know some dance. Let's just follow the instructor.
Yeah.
But I think that point is so huge because it's not just being comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling. It's willing to acknowledge that you're going to look silly. You're going to make a mistake. You're just practicing. Like life is just one big practice.
Well, it's like what you say. You always say like you can't get better and look good at the same time. And that it's very, very true.
You said that last week, Mike. I almost fell out my chair. I was like, that is fantastic. I wrote it down and I was like, I love that. I'm about to make shirts. I'm just letting you know. I'm about to make shirts with that. I love it. I love it. I think it's that good. And it's spot on. It's so spot on. We're so afraid of wanting to look cool and everything. Sometimes you can't look cool. You can't look cool all the time and get it done.
Right.
Shoot.
Well, and I think that we've all, at least I've been guilty of, like, you get to a spot and you get comfortable and all of a sudden like complacency sit in. All right. To where I started getting, or maybe I was challenged and then I got out of my good routines and went to my maybe bad habits. And so that's the one thing, like if you consistently push yourself to learn something new, sure, it's uncomfortable. It's nasty. You got to wade through the crap before you get to greener pastures. But man, like the feeling on the opposite side of that is like, let's go.
Well, I think to what you're saying there, I'm going through that right now where I have noticed that my life is very comfortable. And if I don't have a challenge, if I am not growing, I will challenge myself in a way that's not productive.
Yep.
Like I will start putting things I will start to self-sabotage because it's so easy that I need challenge, that I like adversity because I like to grow as a human being. So I think it's also paying attention to if life gets too cushy, you may unintentionally start putting things in your way just so you can have new growth. I mean, I think that's, at least for me, one of the main reasons that I'm here is to evolve, is to change. And if I don't have that, I'm going to find it.
I totally I totally agree. I mean, it's a choice, but all growth is not necessarily good growth, right? You can grow in a bad way too.
Right.
So
That's right.
you have to be, you got to be picky. And I think another trait or criteria from folks with elite mindset is they're not, the transparency, the need for transparency and asking people like, hey, how am I doing? What would you change? Well, if I could do this again, what would you change? The folks that are okay with getting, constructive criticism, I think are the folks that are interested in truly getting better. Now, the key word in all that is constructive, because there's also, unconstructive, right? Or destructive, I should say. So we have constructive and destructive, and I think there's obviously different types of criticism, and they can have different results and different intentions behind it. But if the intention is pure, we're in good shape. We're in good shape, it's to build on this. So, yeah.
And like what you said earlier, clear desired intention. The word intention continues to get brought up. So,
yeah, because I think what you focus on is always what grows. And so at any point in time, we have the choice to focus on something, a completely different version of what could happen. We have a choice on focusing on, rates are going up and customers are upset. And there's a lot of things that are happening in our industry that are very, very tough. Or we can look at the opportunity for growth, the opportunity to connect with our customers, the opportunity to market in a different way, to sell in a different way. Like, these are all things that are building us for the next time this happens, because it will, because insurance is very cyclical. This is not the last time that rates are going to go up and customers are going to be upset and claims are going to be a problem. That's a common theme. So when it happens again, you already have this baseline of, oh, I know how to persevere in this situation. So I'm just going to employ all the skills that I already have and continue to hone those skills. So you'll be that much farther ahead when it comes around again.
It comes down, I love what you just said there, right? Things, it's so cyclical. What did we do the last time we were here? What happened? What did we do the last time that rates went up? Well, we sold other products. We sell, in our business, we say, hey, sell what's on sale. So in my, one of the chords I have in the book is called, when you can win, when you can win. And so a lot of times, you talk about the self-sabotage, a lot of times folks are really indulgent in what they want to sell. It's kind of like American Idol. Love the show. Watch plenty of contestants get on this. Oh, I'm on American Idol. I'm about to sing this song that means so much to me. We about to let it go. And then they sing the song. It's like, look, love the song. That's not a song for you. Mm-hmm. The reason why you chose that song is because you were being really indulgent. Well, when rates go up, agents are just irate, incensed, like, oh my God, I can't sell auto. What am I going to do? It sounds like a one-trick pony to me. We really needed to pivot toward other products that are on sale. Easier said than done, but that is what needs to happen. What happened to commercial? What happened to workers' comp? What happened to life? What happened to all of these other things that can, these other products that we have? I mean, now, we've had more products than we have access to sell more products than we ever have in my company. It is ridiculous right now. It's silly season, how much we have and what that means. And to me, and one thing that I believe in is like, we don't make exceptions. We just make adjustments. We had to adjust the strategy. No exceptions. It's got to get done. It's got to get done. Like, hey, mortgages due. No exceptions. Mortgages due.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There are no exceptions. Adjustments. All right. Well, you'll pay us back in these installments. No exceptions. We make adjustments. It ain't like we heartless. We'll make adjustments. And I feel that, folks need to apply that with their own businesses as well. Like, hey, we got to get it done. I got to get to a certain premium total. Auto ain't doing it. All right. What else we got? It's easy. It's easy. Just flip it just like that,
The three things in the industry that I've heard the last 15 years, Toby, you tell me if I'm wrong right now.
Oh,
rates are never good enough. Claims are always jacked up. I can't find good people. Tell me I'm wrong. 15 years, same story. Over 15 years, doesn't matter what company you're with. And you just said it, evolution is a choice. In my opinion, as an insurance professional looking forward, you're going to become a financial services expert that offers P&C insurance. P&C is going to be volatile, and it's only going to get worse as we move throughout time with rates, with competitors, with technology. What's the one thing that you can count on as an insurance professional? Financial services. Talking to customers about their money, talking to them about life insurance, disability, what they're doing for the future, and you also can help them out with their P&C on the side.
See, but Mike, you're talking about an extra level of liability. You're talking about more licenses. You're talking about studying. You're talking about getting your Series 6 and 63. You're talking about all these other things. And really, when it boils down to, you're talking to more work. You're talking about work. You're talking about sacrifice. Talking about practice, Mike. We talking about practice. We talking about practice. Come on, what are we talking about, right? And there's nothing that we. If we want it bad enough, how bad do we want, success? I don't know about anybody else, but this is one of the only businesses I can see where you can literally, create income for yourself in like a bigger jump from one year to another and just pay in 1 year. Yeah, try having a boss and do that. It's just that just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. The problem is that with this business, if you own your own agency, you don't have anybody telling you, hey, I think we can get more. I think you can get more. You have to tell yourself that, we're trusting you. The company's trusting you. Your partner is trusting you. Your staff is trusting you that you will be the person that can self-manage and say, hey, I think we can get more. I think we can get more. But again, that's uncomfortable. And so you have to. One thing I always talk about is embracing the contact. When you're going up for a layup and the defense is there, you got to embrace. Look, you might get fouled, bro. You might get fouled. You might get fouled. So knowing that somebody's going to put some hands on you, does that change your approach? Does that change your approach? I think it does. Somebody's going to put hands on you. And I'm not talking they praying for you either. I'm not talking about them kind of hands. I'm talking about different type of hands. So does that change your approach? If it does, okay. I know if the game is on the line, put the ball in the hole, dog. You got to do whatever you can. Put it in the hole, because sometimes what the defender will do is run up to you and then not touch you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then what? Then you end up looking stupid. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen it. You've seen it. So embrace for contact. Do what you got to do, but put the ball in the hole. You hit the goal. And there's always someone else that's doing it. I think that's the thing. Somebody's doing it. Somebody's actually selling the product that you said you can't sell. Somebody actually is succeeding in a time where no one is successful. Well, why is Alan, how is Alan doing it? Well, Alan actually is doing stuff that he wasn't so into before. Mm-hmm. And now he's embracing the contact and now he loves it because he's winning. That's right. And everybody likes, you should like win. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, what you just said, the game is on the line currently in the insurance profession. The game is on the line. So you better be bracing for impact because change is coming and you get to choose. Because evolution is a choice, baby. You said it earlier, all right? You get to choose whether you evolve or whether you get left in the sidelines. Like, that's it. Like, you're either going to evolve to the person that the customer wants you to be, that the company needs you to be, that you need to be, or you're going to choose not to do that. And then there's repercussions to both choices, all right? And you get to choose those repercussions.
That's it. You can drop the mic. You can drop the mic right now. If it wasn't in that holder right there. It's attached to my desk. I know. No exceptions, Mike. No exceptions.
They're stuck.
This has been great, man. If somebody wanted to obviously get to know you more, support you, work with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yep. Best way is to contact me, 313-513 8701. If you text 1 to that number, you get all of my socials and the ways to connect with me. If you text Zoom with Toby during that time, we get to spend 30 minutes together and just chat about whatever you want to talk about. So those are the ways. And I'm open to talk to anyone inside the industry, in the industry, licensed, unlicensed. If you want to chat, I will make some time to talk with you, because I think we are at a critical point, not just in the industry, but in the mindset of communities at large. I think that we're at the precipice of something potentially, big, something big. I think having the right kind of mindset so that we can deal with all of the changes that we're seeing day in and day out, whether it's in the news, political, non-political, religious, non-religious, business, non-business, at home, family life. You're on the precipice of something. Something's always happening. And I think the best way to navigate through those is to be empowered. And that's what my book and my mission is all about.
Hell yeah, baby.
So good.
Toby, thank you so much. For those of you that tuned in today, thank you so much for your time. I'd love to know your biggest takeaway. There were so many nuggets. So many. We're even getting the old tambourine out, baby. All right. So many nuggets. So many nuggets dropped today. Make sure you text me 816-727-7610. Other than that, thank you so much. As you know, time and attention are by far our most important assets, and we appreciate you spending time with us today. Go out and make it great. Toby, thanks again, brother.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. This was fun. We got to do this again. We should take this on the road. That's what I'm thinking. Take it on the road.
We should.
Road show, baby.
2 drink minimum. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Good stuff.